Well, Bitcoin has stabilized at almost exactly $14 a coin. I'm tired of waiting for a jump. So I'm taking the loss and getting my cash back.
I wish I had kept my 1,700 Bitcoin at 6 cents instead of selling them at 30 cents. They are at $8.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Thursday. Hope you're having an alright day today. Now, I do know we had a dump. Yesterday, we were down over 10%, currently down about 7.3% today. You can see Bitcoin is sitting around $9,506. So basically, we pumped up to about $10,328, dumped all the way down to $9,330, and currently are sitting at where we are right now. So I do want to talk about that today. So is it doom and gloom? Well, guys, that's why I played that intro. You could see people were saying, you know what, Bitcoin is back down to $14. That's it. I'm getting my money back. Well, this happens, and it's funny because whenever Bitcoin starts to do this, you get all the bears coming out, guys like Peter Schiff, he's got things to say about it. So I want to talk about it because realistically speaking, if we have a look at the chart, even though this does look pretty nasty, we are still following a pattern. So there actually are a few things I want to go over today. I want to talk about not just where we could be heading short term and long term, but I want to talk about what the heck happened and why we saw this dump in the first place, okay? And I think that once we can better learn to analyze why these things are happening, we can make a lot better decisions in the future. And if that sounds good to you guys, today is going to be a rapid fire video. You can see I am in the box of shame today. I'm traveling. Wi-Fi sucks here, so we're going to get straight into it. Let's go. Let's give this actually a quick refresh live. So we have Bitcoin dominance actually up 0.1% since this morning. I'm not really going to go into the charts today. Virtually everything is in red. Altcoins, not all of them, but a lot of them are getting hit much harder than Bitcoin today. Do we have anything up? Yes, we do. Agrisha with a comeback, 35% up. Hedge Trade, Lambda, Golem, Horizon, and that's about it, guys. Now, there are a few altcoins on pages 2 and 3 that are doing quite well today, but they are quite low liquidity. You can see $150 million worth of longs liquidated on BitMEX, which is honestly probably one of the biggest liquidations I've seen in quite a long time. Now, I want to point out one thing. We have seen more of the real 10 volume coming in, about 1.4 billion. This is good. However, it is still kind of low compared to what I would like to see. Oh, also, friendly reminder, I forgot to even mention it. Guys, if this is your first time checking out the Crypto Zombie channel, I'm usually not in the box of shame. Just go check out yesterday's video. You'll know what I mean. And yeah, if you're not subscribed, definitely check it out. We do this every single day. All right, getting back to the video, fear and greed index is now back down to 20. So, keep in mind, guys, we had a 5 the other day, so take that with a grain of salt. But essentially, we came to the end of this wedge, and we broke out to the downside. So we knew this was coming. We knew it was going to be one way or the other. If you guys are interested in more of what I had to say about it, definitely check out yesterday's video. We went into a lot more detail. This video is going to be a lot quicker, but nevertheless, Peter Schiff, the leader of the gold bugs, essentially says Bitcoin has again failed the safe haven test. Now, he is talking about Friday with escalating trade tensions, but notice he posted this yesterday at 4:31 p.m. So this is obviously a direct reference to what happened. The Japanese yen, Swiss franc, and especially gold all move higher, yet Bitcoin plunged by more than stocks. Now, keep in mind, gold is up 20%, whereas Bitcoin, had put in 300% at one point, but that's neither here or there. Yes, gold is doing quite well. And for anybody out there, if you do hold gold, I have nothing against gold. I think that gold and Bitcoin could both peacefully exist. I don't have a problem. So that being said, though, the one thing I do want to say about gold is if we come over here and have a look at this article, you are noticing all of these fake branded bars. So there's a lot of dirty gold in the markets right now. You can see they found about 1,000 bars the other day, and they think there's a lot more out there. So just going to throw it out there, you can pretty much verify Bitcoin. We don't have any, fake Bitcoin floating around, but that is not the point of the video, guys. You can clearly see right here, we fell into the danger zone. We've had our eyes on this for quite some time. We've been holding steady basically ever since we wicked back here on July 28th, but finally we fell through. So is this the end? Should we throw in the towel? Well, this is only one way to look at it, because looking back at our other chart, you could see this is the wedge right here we were putting in where we fell down. Now, there are multiple different levels. Now, obviously, falling down to that $9,000 level like I said yesterday, is still possible. I do think if we wick down to 9,000, though, we would instantly come back up into this channel. I don't think we would stay down there long, but if we do, okay, because you never know, I'm just a guy on the internet, okay? Don't just do what I say because I say it. You know, we're all looking at the same charts here, but you notice if you do get into this lower zone and fall below that 8,800, dollar level, then you could be looking to even, go back to that narrative of refilling the CME futures gaps, which I'm going to get into in just a second. But it's not surprising that we hit this resistance and we were rejected again. I mean, we've been rejected multiple times. Now, don't forget, it was support back here in the beginning of August, but obviously now, unfortunately, it has turned resistance, right? So having a look, now this is the futures chart, by the way, because I thought, considering futures is going to play a really big role in the rest of this video, why not talk about it? You could see we were very nicely supported by the $9,548 level. Now, this is for the CME futures, right? Obviously, we had a very different over on the other exchanges, but having a look at this, you notice that you could argue this is essentially a bull pennant or a bull flag, right? You could say that still. So this could still be a very bullish move, all right? We could still come down into some of these levels. Now, this box right here represents the CME futures gap back here that we still didn't close when we went, from June 14th to June 17th, right? So that's right here. And I just want to point that out because a lot of people still say that gaps need to get closed. So if that is the case, then you could still potentially see that $8,500 Bitcoin, but also extending this all the way out, you notice that you could be looking for breakouts even by the end of October or the end of November if this thing goes that far. And like I said yesterday, these guys are going to milk it. Why are they going to pump Bitcoin's price back to 14K when they can push this sideways downwards a little bit more and accumulate or, long and short more? Because I do want to get into the manipulation and show you exactly how they're doing that. So don't go anywhere. Now, getting into why did we have this dump? Well, nobody really knows 100%, but we do have some pretty damn good indications. I'm going to start off with what the Crypto Monk said on Twitter. He said, I don't see any reason for bulls to wet their pants yet. Now, scrolling down here, this is the one I wanted to highlight. A few hours ago, there was a $120 million buy wall on BitMEX. Obviously, someone trying to unload some corn. Don't get caught with your pants down. Now, here was the really important part. He said, setting a huge buy wall of this magnitude is the only way to sustain the price while unloading. It becomes obvious when the wall disappears after a few minutes. So right off the bat, instantly people are running saying manipulation. It's got to be manipulation, right? Could be. I mean, we were coming to the end of a wedge. There is something else. But before we get into the CME futures, I want to point out one interesting piece of data that we haven't really talked about. And it actually was kind of eye-opening for me as well. And this is from Longhash. And you can see right here, according to this graph, you can see that they have the 10-day moving average of daily percentage price gains during the daytime in different time zones. Now, it's very interesting to see what actually is showing on this graph. So it's clear that except for a slight brief window that happened in April when Bitcoin price spiked during Asian trading hours, that the bull market saw Asian trading significantly lag behind trading in USA. This is interesting. So in particular, since late June, when Bitcoin saw its price peak at around $13,000, Asian trading mostly had only seen prices falling, while all of the major bounce backs occurring during basically American trading hours, right? American daytime. And honestly, we saw that fall yesterday right around 2 p.m. Eastern time, which we know that Asia was asleep, right? Because that would be 2 a.m. in the morning and they're definitely not awake trading, right? So when we take the average of daily percentage price gains in different time zones, you notice that Bitcoin on average has actually barely budged at all during Asian trading hours, and almost all of its price gains took place during American trading hours. Now, is this because, they're buying mostly OTC over there? It could be, it's possible, but that's something that we just need to look at moving forward. Now, here's the little bit of like the conspiracy tweet, or maybe this was, what caused it, but Angelo BTC, you may or may not be familiar with him on Twitter. He, became really famous, I would say, mostly for, being a really big whale, essentially, on BitMEX. He provided a lot of liquidity, and he made a lot of money. I think he made over $30 million or something like that it was. So, he's well respected. But anyway, got a message from a friend that trades with a serious size. He said, long capitulation once we break 8K. I tend to believe him. Now, this is coming from a guy who clearly trades with a lot of money, probably more money than you and I might ever see, ever, to be honest with you. So, when this guy talks, people, listen, here's the interesting thing. This is when the tweet comes out And I mean, I have this in the 15-minute chart. You could literally see it came out at, 212 and boom, we had the dump. So was this correlated with it? It's possible. I mean, the guy's got over 120,000 followers or something like that on Twitter. I follow him as well. That's possible, or maybe this was just what the guy was talking about, right? So does that mean that now the whales are looking to buy in all the way down at 8K? Is 8K the new 9K? Well, it's possible, guys, but one other interesting thing, silly me, I was so busy. Obviously, you guys could tell I was traveling. I forgot to mention this. We didn't even mention the fact that Bitcoin does tend to do this on the last Friday, basically when futures expire for each month for CME. And I've highlighted them all right here. And this is the last Friday. Obviously, this one right here hasn't happened yet because today is still Thursday in the US. It's Friday in other places, but in the US, it's still Thursday. So you can see right here, all of these days put in huge green candles. In fact, on this day, we put in a massive green candle. But you're probably saying, what's your point? We dumped. Yes, look at the day before. Every single day before, we dump. Look at this. Okay, the day before the expiry on Friday, we had an 8% dump in May. Okay, now what did we have? What is going on here? Oh my goodness, sorry guys, my trading view is freaking out. And then over here in June, right, the day before Friday, we had a 22% dump. And then once again, over here before Friday, what did we have from top to bottom? Well, it was 5%. Well, it was actually more than 5% when it happened. But long story short, you could see that we tend to dump the day before, and on the day of, we pump. So does that mean that tomorrow we are looking for a pump? Well, today, I mean, it's possible. It's possible, guys. Oh, what am I saying? I'm being silly. We should actually look at the day before for the dump. Sorry, guys. I'm being a little crazy. Yeah, there you go. There you go. 10%. Okay, I know. I'm sure somebody was calling me out in the comments on that one. But my point being, we always have these dumps right before, but then on the actual Friday, we tend to see it green. So why does this happen? Well, is it manipulation? You could look over here, and TrustNodes actually pointed out that word for word, they've pretty much been, putting out the same article in April and May and June and July. So they say, is it outright manipulation to keep the price down with its most acute felt at the contract as it's ready to expire, or are there innocent explanations? Well, like they say, it is the end of the month, so people need to get paid, so they might be selling, right? But then they say, if that was the case, you'd think some would sell on Monday, some would sell on Friday, and, make it a little bit more organic instead of all dumping it at the exact same time. But if we are saying that it is innocent, then they're saying fiat settled futures may be hedged with spot Bitcoin. They're saying if it's manipulation, and actually I'm going to show you this in a second, so stick with me. They say if we take the former, then the fiat settled futures are maybe hedged with the spot Bitcoin, where you buy Bitcoin and then you short the CME futures, so canceling each other out. So near the contract expiry, you sell the Bitcoin, lowering price, thus profiting from the CME short. That would have the effect of keeping the price down, especially if you short just before you sell the Bitcoin, which would be obvious manipulation. Now, if any of you are thinking of doing it out there, I hope you have a lot of money, because it would require a lot of money in order to pull this off. But essentially, what do you do? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You go over to Bybit. You put in a short right around here, okay? Then you go over and you use very high leverage, right? Because you're going to manipulate it. So you use enough leverage so that even when you sell the Bitcoin and the price crashes, you still make out. And then what do? You go over here to an actual spot exchange, and you literally just crash the price. You literally just sell the order book. So the price actually crashes on spot for real. The real spot price is actually crashing because you're selling, but over here, you actually have a futures short in, and you have it at very high leverage, and that short is actually making more money than the Bitcoin that you sold. Guys, you can't make this up, man. It's crazy what these whales do, but I just want to help you guys understand exactly how this works. So, my buddy Josh Rager says over here, frequently asked question, should I sell my Bitcoin and buy lower? Answer, no. At 9K, the risk outweighs the reward. But in the end of the day, if you think price is going to be substantially lower and it's worth the risk, then it's, your money, and do what you want. Cheers. And I agree with him 100%. Listen, if you think it's going to go lower, short it. If you don't feel comfortable shorting it, sell it. It's your money. Don't do anything because any technical analyst or a guy on YouTube or a guy on Twitter or your friend told you to buy or sell. Always manage your own risk and your own money to your own level of, risk, basically, you guys know what I'm trying to say, right? God, I feel like a broken record, but essentially you need to just make sure that you're not taking advice or just doing whatever. But personally, I think that we're still just in a big consolidation. I think that the whales are just milking this thing. That's just my opinion, but you can see over here, some people tend to have a little bit of a disagreement. ARCA CIO Jeff Dorman believes that the most recent downturn was caused by a double whammy of CME futures expiration and low trading volumes. When there is low liquidity in the market, it's much easier for whales to pull all the strings, which is probably why these altcoins got hit even harder, because they have even less liquidity, right? Volumes are low and it takes very little to move markets right now. And you have big futures options expirations coming at the end of the week. Dorman claims there is not enough bullish sentiment to keep the Bitcoin price afloat. So he's not really feeling too confident about it moving forward. Now, according to Bloomberg data, here's an interesting thing about the altcoins. They say that the prices of top altcoins have started moving in tandem with Bitcoin, considering that the crypto king has already experienced a headline-grabbing rally in 2018. It might mean that altcoins will soon shine too. Well, to that I say be very, very careful, because times have changed, my friends. You are noticing, like for example, right here in this article from Bitcoin.com, the changing face of cryptocurrency trading in 2019. And you could see that we are moving away from the altcoins. More people are moving to these derivatives, these futures, even these options types of trading, right? You could see right here, they mentioned Bybit. They mentioned Huobi HBDM, right? They even talk about, other things as well. And don't forget, we do have Binance margin trading, for example. They just added NEO and XMR. So, technically this is in the vein of the altcoins, but you're noticing more of that speculation, more of that trading on futures, more of those derivatives, rather than what people were doing with altcoin trading back in the day. So I'm not saying that altcoins aren't going to have their day. Some of these altcoins are going to freaking skyrocket, but not all of them. And you're going to have to be very careful and very selective. And you are noticing, like I said, a lot of people are just really mostly trading derivatives moving forward. But once again, as you can see, on September 6th, our warehouse will begin offering secure storage of customer Bitcoins to prepare for the launch of backed Bitcoin daily and monthly futures. Futures, once again, guys, futures, that's the key word here. When they launch on September 23rd, these contracts will enjoy physically delivery of Bitcoin, which is why Rhythm Trader says, remember, the hype is backed with substance. Unlike other futures exchanges, this is settled in Bitcoin. Actual Bitcoin is paid out, not just the fiat equivalent to the price of Bitcoin. The result is better price discovery and liquidity for Bitcoin and everyone in the space. So anyone who's freaking out right now, guys, I just want to friendly remind you that this is what Bitcoin does. And if you're new, you better get used to it, because we are a very young market, and these 35% crazy, pullbacks and swings and consolidations, and it happens, guys. It happens. So definitely get used to it. That being said, but I do want to end on, something sort of positive, I suppose. You have Libra is inviting you to basically check it out, and the testers, you can make up to $10,000 for every bug that you find. So there you go. If you're looking to make an extra $10,000 and you think you have the ability to find a bug, well, go check that out moving forward. But once again, guys, a friendly reminder of just how small Bitcoin really is in the grand scheme of things. This is just the beginning. If you are here now and you think that you're too late to the party, you are definitely not too late to the party. If this was a baseball game, well, we are just maybe getting through with the national anthem. So that being said, thank you so much once again for coming back to the channel. Oh, I forgot to mention, tomorrow I'm going to be traveling again, but I'm not going to be able to put a video out, unfortunately, until later on in the day. So make sure you guys turn on the bell